It is 7 PM on October 1st, 2019, and we're going to open the committee's meeting. Will you do roll call, please?
Yep, committee members, Chris Samples,
Here.
John Talbot.
Here.
William Luxinger is absent. Dina Simpson.
Here.
Jen Christensen.
Here.
Jared Doan.
Here.
President Rick Worm.
Here.
Treasurer Brenda Onabany.
Here.
I, Clerk Sandy Mazem here. We do not have an attorney. Engineer Corey Buck is here. And Public Works Supervisor Brett Berge.
Here. Motion to approve the September 3rd, 2019 Committee of Committee Minutes. Second.
John makes a motion to approve the September 3rd, 2019 meeting minutes. Jared seconds. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 701. Under me, we have discussion of draft ordinance regarding President Pro Tem. If anybody read it, the way it is written currently, it lists the finance trustee as the President Pro Tem. And that is up to discussion unless everybody's okay with that. Which would be kinda weird, because if there was a time where if I wasn't here, in this case William wasn't here, then you'd have to.
It makes provisions if neither is here, so it could be covered.
That's fine by me.
Good with me too.
Fine. Okay.
So moved.
Is there anything else in there?
Nope. Well, if the provisions that if neither one of you are here, then the board has to elect somebody else.
Oh, that's fine.
That's the provision.
Mm-hmm.
Move on to clerk.
So in your packet is a really nice draft annual fee ordinance. Dan and I realized after we passed the one this summer that we had passed zoning fees in the spring, but didn't incorporate them in the summer. And so when we passed the annual fee ordinance, we forgot zoning again.
Okay, so when I read that, I was like,
So essentially, it is the exact same thing with two ordinances now combined into one. Instead of having a zoning fee ordinance and an annual fee ordinance, it is all now under the annual fee ordinance. So this is just catching us up on making sure that whatever we have available for the public to see is all together, easy to read. And every year we are reviewing the exact
One
same
thing.
thing. One thing. So that's all that is. But if there's no questions on it, I'll just stick it in the packet for approval next week.
I read it, it looked the same as before, is
Yeah,
that just a name change?
There's not even a name change.
no,
The
it's the same
last
thing.
3 pages of fees have been shoved in there. That's
Oh,
it.
alright,
It's just like in addition.
Yeah, yeah, it's just taking the zoning fees you guys passed earlier in the year and combining it into one document.
yeah.
That would be
Alright.
fine.
Any further?
Thank you.
No, everything I have is for discussion with you after.
All right. Brenda?
As I mentioned last week, the auditors were here last week. Here, they asked for a lot of stuff because they're kind of making their base because it's the first year they've been here, so they're making their base and getting a lot of extra documents, that we had approved, years ago. So I think it went pretty well. And I should hopefully be hearing from them.
Before October 31st.
Yeah, and everything should be ready. I think that's all I have.
All right, village engineer?
Okay, for the Harvest Glen Plat 10 Phase 1 street reconstruction, the contractor completed the grading and seeding along the concrete gutter finally, and once that gets established, we will pay him final payment. That's all that's left for that project to finally be closed out. Harvest Glen Plat 10 Phase 2, all concrete work is complete. Martin has rough graded the ditches along, and cooling landscaping will be behind them to sod the ditches and restore seating. I did finally get a schedule from Martin today, because we've been asking them for several weeks. And their schedule is intended as follows. Cooling, who is a landscaper, is prepared to finish as soon as soil conditions dry up and allow, regardless of cooling's progress. Martin will be in to grade and pave in Harvest Glen starting week of 10/7. Weather dependent, of course, but the weather looks pretty good for the next week, so except for tomorrow. So the plan is that they'll be in Monday to final grade the street and pave it. Hopefully by Tuesday, they'll be blacktop down.
So are they gonna leave it potholed like it is?
No, they'll regrade it, and it's not to finish grade yet, I'm assuming.
No, I
But
mean
they'll-
before Monday. Are they coming back out to regrade it?
Oh,
There's huge
oh, you
potholes.
mean.
Currently,
okay.
there are swamped and potholes on the road.
Okay, I didn't know that. I'll talk to Mike tomorrow and make sure that gets touched up before the end of the week.
They should come by and do something
Yeah,
with that.
definitely. But the plan right now is to final grade in blacktop Monday, Tuesday. Probably won't take into Wednesday, but it might, of next week. And then beginning of the week of 10/14, they will work on the walking path. They should be able to remove and pave back that week. And then punch list after that, so I know it's taken a long time, but hopefully after next week, things will be blacktopped and then things will calm down a little bit.
Are you saying the week of 10/14, they're going to do the entire walking path this
Yes.
week? And so it'll be hopefully just closed Monday through Friday?
They will mill it and overlay it, which I'm assuming they'll mill it in one day and overlay it the next day, so I don't think it will take the whole week, but
All right. If those dates change at all, will you make sure that I or Chris or Fergie?
I will let you know
Yeah, if
every
you
change that
can
I
out
get.
when that
Yeah.
happens, please.
I'm
Thank you.
actually probably the problem is that we have a lot of children who have a lot.
Okay.
So I want to advertise that that's closing. And
Okay.
so I'll probably start preliminary.
So right now,
Well, they-
beginning week of 10/14 is when they want to start that.
Practices, soccer
Flag
practice.
football and whatever.
Soccer should be wrapping up. And so, actually, I know flag football is too.
In that field.
Flag football, actually think
There
the
was a
last
soccer
game
practice in there
weekend,
tonight.
or the weekend.
Well, they have
after.
access to,
The parking lot.
to Frosty Morning and Red Fox during the paving? Or
Yes.
do we need to advertise that too?
No, they'll be able to go around the pavers. The paver will pave, there will be two lifts. They'll pave each lane at a time, so while they're paving one lane, they'll be able to drive around the other lane.
Alright.
So there should be access. And the walking path, they will mill it, it will be gravel, and then they will overlay it, so it won't be unwalkable or unusable, it will just be a little messy,
All right,
so. But it would be nice to probably let everybody know that.
yeah.
Yeah, I was like, 'cause I think when they did our street, cul-de-sac, they came knocking on our doors at like 6:30 in the morning
Yeah.
saying, get your cars out. That's why,
For paving?
yeah.
Really?
I live in a cul-de-sac and that's what they told us.
Oh, this is the cul-de-sac. That's the
Mhm, That's
cul-de-sac.
why I said that.
That's why I asked, 'cause well,
No, once they put the asphalt down and roll it, you can drive on it, so
Well,
it's.
no, they just came around, 'cause I suppose if, once they got their equipment inside, in the circle,
The cul-de-sacs take a little time.
well, that's why, they
Yeah.
said if you have to go to work,
Oh, yeah, that's.
they're like,
understandable.
get your
Yeah.
Car out.
cars out if you plan on leaving within the next, like, 4 hours. You know, so we went so far down the street and like parked them.
That's nice that they came and told you though.
Yeah, they
before
did, they came
blocked
and
you in.
knocked on the doors, so.
Any other questions on the Harvest Glen project?
is that Luke?
That's when Luke was here, yes.
Yeah.
Not right at the
Well, no, he didn't, the company did, the Blacktop company did, but when we had Luke, yes.
Okay, 2019 microservicing, I talked to AC Pavement Striping last week, and they told me that it would be the middle to end of this week. The rain doesn't really stop them, they can pave on wet pavement, or they can microsurface on wet pavement, they just can't microsurface when it's raining, of course, so. So I'm assuming they'll be in this week, but I haven't heard from them yet this week. 2019 seal coating is complete, there's no update on that one. Oval Crossing sump pumps, we're waiting to make sure all of the sod is established and is doing well, which I think most of it is, there's just a couple of little spots.
Saturday and redid a couple
Oh.
of little spots.
Good,
Yes, and it was even a smaller list than before,
okay, so we're just waiting for that to make sure that's
Yep.
good to go,
Yep.
and, okay.
Yep.
Illinois Route 72 sidewalks, no update. Park Pond modifications, no update. Maintenance building water main extension, there's no update on that one either.
Is that one done?
It's essentially done, I think we're just waiting for landscaping again.
Yes,
For
what
grass
is
to
it?
establish.
Is it Paul?
Paul Munson, yes.
Paul Munson? Yes, they were gonna come back here towards the end of the season and overseed, hit everything one more time, so.
Water and sewer rate study, there's no update on that. The Illinois Route 251 water main, there's no update on that one since last month. Illinois 251 water main extension, final pay request will be submitted once all the punch list items have been completed, and I don't know when that will be. Verizon wireless antennas. On September 3rd, the committee of the committees recommended proceeding with the termination of the agreement with Verizon. And then there's a couple of new projects on this list: Wisconsin Independent Network Fiber Optic Construction Drawing Review. We have submitted a review letter to the village on September 25th.
I have that for discussion with you after the meeting, and you after the meeting.
I was gonna say, what is that?
I'll let you know after the meeting.
And then the last project is the property survey north of Davis Junction Park, which is complete, and you have the survey in your hands, right?
Yes, and I told him, I just emailed him at like 5 o'clock today and told him how many copies to get.
Okay,
I
perfect.
figured William and I weren't sure how many we needed, so I told him, I told William that we can always ask for more later. if we
Yeah,
need them.
as many as you need.
Yeah.
And that is all of the updates on the projects.
Can I touch base on the water sewer study with you?
Sure.
When do you want to push for that conversation with residents? I suggested the first meeting in November and let Jess and I advertise it.
Is Matt here that,
He is,
okay.
and it would allow, a couple weeks for advertising, and encouraging people to get here. And even though it is tends to be a slightly longer meeting.
What meeting is that?
November
12th.
Please don't
No.
say
It's the 5th.
5th.
I mean, we could aim for another meeting and ask Matt to attend.
What time? 7?
7.
Okay, I have a meeting at 6 till 7, I'll just come in right at,
Are
like,
you
I'll be a
sure?
few minutes. No, because we put it off, then we can't make recommendations, and then we can't do it at the right time.
I was gonna say, I can ask Matt to come in on the 19th, see if he's available.
No, because that's a committee, this is a committee's meeting. I will be here, I will just be a few minutes late.
So we'll put water, sewer towards the end, like
Mhm.
underneath you at the bottom.
Or when, I don't care where to go, if I'm not here, just say she'll be here,
Yeah.
and then skip me. Because I'd hate to have, like, people sitting here the whole time, if they want to discuss it, and then when they're done, if they want to leave, then.
Do you mind if I stick it under Rick then, so it moves to the front of the agenda?
Fine by me.
Okay. So I will start advertising that with Jeff for
And then-
November 5th. Will you warn Matt, Corey?
I was just gonna say, will you let Matt know too? November 5th.
November 5th, we're going to push to invite the public. It's his normal meeting attendance for the month. We're just going to advertise for the public to come to discuss any questions or concerns on the water and sewer rate study.
So we need to pay attention on social media to these questions that are being raised. Like today, the one that was, they paid additional taxes. I think we came down to the conclusion that was actually additional connection fees, which today's homeowners pay thousands, not 200, to connect. So even though it's in the price of the house and the homeowner usually doesn't realize it's there, the connection fees are still there, and it wasn't just an additional tax on the old part of town.
What
So we
social
need-
media thing are we looking at?
It was on DJ Rants today.
Oh, yeah, I don't,
So, but just to make sure that if those folks
Yeah.
come in and they ask these same questions, that we can have the answers to them and be prepared for those questions to be asked at that public hearing.
I'm going to share something with you, which is very disappointing. So on the back end of Facebook, we can see how many people have engaged with a post, meaning they saw it, or they paid attention to it, or paused on it for a certain amount of time. Our bulk trash pickup received almost 1,000 engagements. So far, our water sewer rate studies are lucky to have right around 300.
And so what'll happen is, my prediction would be, unfortunately,
The high bill.
we'll go through this process, which is, it's been an ongoing process over the last 2 months.
Yep,
We've talked about it multiple times.
in the last 3 weeks it's gone
And
out.
it's been out there, published. The part that concerns me the most is that, like, when this process goes through, after the fact is when we'll hear the majority of the concerns.
Jess and I have discussed that we are fearful that that's unfortunately going to be the reaction, but we are doing everything in our power to make sure that
To
people
communicate it out
know.
there.
I mean, we put it
Right.
on our website for those who don't use social media. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have done everything we can to try and let people know. We discuss it in the meetings and then post these videos. I don't know what else there is that we could do, and it's in the rail.
I think it's
That
a
was
natural.
that was
But
delivered
I just think when these questions are raised, like, I mean, one of the questions given today that I'm gonna find out, Brenda and I will discuss it, they said that when this first came in, the water service was supposed to be free. Well, we came here in '02 and the water service was a $40 flat rate for
That's when
everybody.
I came here,
And-
like,
and-
not '02, but
right,
like,
and that's
we were
part-
40 bucks
part-
flat.
Part of what we tried to do with adjusting the rates was to help those residents who are on a fixed income by not keeping it at 40. You know, if they can go down to, if they only use 2,000 gallons a month, that's only $15.
Mhm.
It's a lot less than 40. So it, for those on fixed incomes, having that flat rate wasn't necessarily a good thing.
Mhm.
And that was part of what we did, and, you know, one of the comments was using the money from the landfill to cover it. Well, that to William's comment last week was, you gotta decide which part you want this money to cover. You know, is it gonna cover streets, is it gonna cover water, is it gonna cover, because eventually the golden goose goes away. We all know it's going to end someday, and in the meantime, we've gotta figure out, what are we willing to spend that money on? And, it can't be everything, because it's not enough to be everything.
That's the, for a
But
house.
I've never seen,
In that.
again, I was only here from '02, but I don't remember it ever being zero. It was 40 flat rate when I moved here. So it was never a zero, and again,
It was never zero.
again, so when people are gonna read these things, and if they do come to the sessions, I think we just need to be prepared to have the real
So
answers.
can I ask a question, or more or less a favor? Because again, I am not on the DJ Rants Facebook page largely for the reason of what it is. I mean, I'm not, so that's just not where I'm at. So is there a way that anybody has those questions on there? If no one is calling to ask those questions, is there a way to look them up and then just write them down so we're prepared for
Right.
some of those questions? or-
Yeah, I would actually prefer that people switch over to the Village of Davis Junction page and ask the questions under there.
That's
Because
what
one, I can acknowledge the fact that they've written a question and respond back.
Well, we can even
if I
respond to them
know.
here, even if they're not here.
Or I can gather the questions up, and the comments and everything else. We've only had one comment on there have been 3 posts.
It's always on the shares.
It's not even on the shares, because I actually went and I looked, and nobody's commenting on them. And so if they switch over to the Villages page, it also helps us keep better track of it, because then I get an email reminder that the questions come in. I could see the question on the Facebook page. I can see that. I can't always see what's going on people's personal pages.
If they are on the DJ Facebook page too, we could also, like we put the articles, we could also do a Q&A. Here's the common Q&A questions.
Yeah.
Feel free to, it might answer questions before people even, I don't know, just throwing
Well,
it out there.
Agreed.
like this-
And I'd like to have the answers when people come, and Brenda and I, Brenda's gone to bring her laptop to try and grab more information, but I don't have my laptop here, so I can't look up these things. It's better to
Well,
have...
like, this one here is one Glenda shared on DJ Rant's page. It has 28 comments.
Oh, good.
And what's the question?
There isn't
It
one.
wasn't, it was the post that we put out there about the water rate study. And it's 28 comments about that.
How am I supposed to go to that page? Because I personally have all those people blocked. I can't see that.
From you,
Yes.
personally.
Yeah, so I can't see that. The village can't see what's going on there, because
Well, again, this is where we might put the other thing in there, to go, if there are questions about this, go to,
I would encourage somebody
The village
on
page.
DJ Rants to post, please go to the village page, because I can't see those.
and then we could answer them. But we're not gonna answer them
Because
on
I'm
DJ
not
Rant.
gonna be a member of DJ Rant.
I'm not on there either.
I follow it because it's interesting to see what people say, and it's
Yeah,
interesting to
somebody
see where
needs
it
to
is.
go over there,
And
and
it also gives us insight, so we're not blindsided when we walk into meetings.
I definitely, I want to know what their questions and concerns are, and even this past weekend, we had a post for Jared that had some broad-ranging opinions on it, and I was glad to see the feedback on the Villages page. I was able to answer 2 questions. Jared was able to jump in, and I was still able to get a record of that, because our social media archiving picks up anything on our page, and so it was good discussion, even though I personally don't agree with some of the statements, but that's okay. It's okay to have different statements, and I appreciated that. So if these people could just shift over to the Villages,
If there's questions, if you can go to the village page.
agreed, because I can't.
plenty of phone calls.
And I'm glad, that's what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to stir conversation.
Jared had phone calls about the,
Oh, no, he had a post,
oh,
he had a post
okay.
come up on Saturday that was highly debated, but they debated it on the Village's Facebook page, so I could answer questions or help them, or if I directed them to Jared at one point, and then Jared hopped in and said, call me on my cell phone, and gave his number. It was great. I can't do that on these community
Right.
pages or people's personal pages, and so it's great that they're sharing it, but if there's a question or concern, they've gotta circle it back to the village.
Okay.
And I would encourage anybody to just circle it back to the
Doing it
village,
right
shoot
now.
me an email, phone number, or, like, just do something.
Mhm.
Call me, text me.
Okay.
Anyway, that got off topic.
All right. And I'm posting this, please post any questions to the village's posts on the village Facebook page so we can answer them where the public can see the answers.
Yep.
A lot of redundancy in words, but, all right. Anything else from up here? We'll move on to reports of the committees. Community development and events.
I am working on the fall party, which is going to be on next Saturday, October 12th. I changed the hours from 1 to 4. I'm gonna do 2 to 4 now. So I'm working on that. And another thing I wanna bring up is I was asked if, by Donna Arnold got a hold of me and asked if we would allow her to have a table up at, the fall party, because she has the group, she does the, veterans cards for any local,
The red cards.
yeah, that she sends out to anybody within the 3 towns from the
Mhm.
school district that is in the military. And I know they had a table up at Fall Festival, and she's asking, she's got 53 cards that she wants as many signatures on as possible to send over, to get to them by Veterans Day, and she asked if she could have a table at the fall party. I had no issues. I said I will go bring it to the board to see what they have to say, and I would let her know.
Great.
Absolutely.
I think it's great for everything that they do. And I know they do the shoebox things, I think, at Christmas time, too.
Yeah. In my personal opinion, just so you know, I don't think you ever need to, I think that's a,
Well,
yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
have an issue, but I just felt I better ask, so
I'm good with that too.
I will let her know that that's okay. And that's all I have.
Finance isn't
Okay.
here.
Can I back up? Did you get her back on the Christmas party at all?
No, I have not. I've heard from
I'm sorry, the holiday celebration.
the specific people that they're doing something they just don't know. And I have to look into, because there was a thing in legislation that had to do with the horse carriage, and I have not seen him post anything, and I got a hold of him, and he has not responded back to me. So I think the state of Illinois, the legislation put a kibosh on what they were doing. I don't know if it was for insurance purposes, but I have to look into it,
All right.
so we may not have that
Do you need
either.
help from the village, or from the office on anything else
I
right
just,
now?
I just gotta go back into it, 'cause I know he was posting stuff, so I have to go into his.
Well, I didn't know the churches or any of that, or...
Like I said, I've talked to a few people that belong to, like, people that know me now, I've seen out in the community, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do something, we're just trying to figure it out. I said, good, I said, 'cause I'm just getting through the fall party first,
All right.
then I'll worry about that after the work.
Fergie has some.
Jen, have you talked to anybody about help? Because according to the calendar, you said the 12th, correct? That's what I have in here. Okay, we also have soccer. So, I'm assuming concessions will be open, everything else. So I just didn't know if you
No, I didn't
talked
know
to
if they-
anybody for volunteers yet, so we kinda got enough
Like
manpower.
I said, when I ask for volunteers, I'm looking for, I need to talk to you too, Sandy, afterwards. Like, I put it out there, I think Jesse even did on a thing for high school students. As and I know I've had a lot of adults,
Okay.
the church, the Grace, or Fellowship, Brad's church.
Okay,
Yeah, they've reached out to me too
okay.
and stuff.
If you just keep me posted, that way I
I
can
need to
get
get
it
everything
around.
organized, I have things everywhere, and I just have to bring it together.
Okay, that'll work.
It's all the ingredients in one pot.
Yes. That's all I have.
Ordinance enforcement.
No, nothing, I just, will not be here for a few weeks, so, having back surgery, so I'll probably, might be able to call in, not this upcoming week, but the next following weeks.
I wish you speedy recovery.
That's it.
Parks,
Nothing tonight.
streets and ditches.
I'd just like to, reiterate what Corey said about the construction, that, most of, Frosty Morning's been sodded already, and as soon as it's dry enough for them to do, Red Fox, I'm sure they'll start on that, and they want cooling to do that, right?
Yes.
one thing I forgot to ask, the 132, 134 Harvest Glen, has that been sodded?
I don't know.
No. All right. Can we check on that?
Yes.
Because that, you know, is a kind of...
That will also be
spot.
cooling, so I'm assuming when they come in to do everything else, they'll finish that up as well, but I will check on that.
All right, and then in the week of 10/7, they'll be paving, both Frosty Morning and Red Fox. That's correct, right?
Yes.
And then 10/14, they'll be working on the bike path between, Autumnwood and,
The tracks.
the tracks.
Yes.
Is there anything else that I've forgotten?
With that project,
Besides the microsurfacing, which you talked about, we don't need.
I don't think so. I think that's everything.
All right, that's it for me then.
Did you get any feedback on the post we did for you this weekend?
Nope.
No calls? You had two comments on
I
it.
didn't say I didn't get
He
called.
lives with them.
They just had nothing to do
I
with it.
meant feedback on, did anybody call you Sunday after it posted for Streets Project?
Yeah, I don't know. For anybody who calls me, I can't tell what numbers are coming up, and I get so many, robocalls or spam calls or whatever, that if I don't know if it's a village member, and especially if I'm at work, I won't answer the phone. But if you leave me a message, I'll get back to you. I'll call you back. But no, I didn't get any that were in connection with the post.
Alright. Yeah, we had 2 people post under that one, so. If anybody has any other ideas for posts like this weekend, let me know.
Utilities?
I don't have anything.
Oh, my God.
You notice I looked to Brett. I don't have it.
Anybody have anything on unfinished business? Public?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Don makes a motion to adjourn. Chris seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. We're adjourned at 7:20.